Okay. First, I want to thank you all for coming here this evening. My name is Michael Mulgrew. I'm the president of United Federation of Teachers. And when Dan Cantor called me a couple of weeks ago and said, you know, we should do a fundraiser in New York City, would you be interested? I said, I think it's appropriate that it would be at the Teachers Union, since I know my good friends in Chicago in that Teachers Union seem to have a special affinity for you, Mr. Garcia. And before I pass the mic, I want to thank my George Caulfield and my retirees who have volunteered and been out in Chicago working on the campaign, going back out again. Thank you all. You all know what's going on here in our state at all times. We seem to have some interesting going-ons, but it's pretty clear that it's the same themes over and over. Is government for sale by the 1%, for the 1%, or is government about the people?
All right.
And that's why it's important, and I think it's appropriate that we are having this event here tonight in New York City, but it's because it's clear that New York City is also on this path, and we have said enough is enough. So I'd now like to bring to you the national leader of the Workers' Family Party and our good friend, Mr. Dan Cantor.
Let me first thank Michael Mulgrew and the members and the leaders of this great institution that has meant so much to the people and the children of New York. So thanks for having us here. I also want to recognize a few of our great champions who are here from the City Council, Corey Johnson and Danique Miller. I think Jelani Williams is here. And then I also want to recognize two great citywide elected officials, Comptroller Scott Stringer and Tish James. Who did I miss? Jamani. I said Jamani.
You said Jamani.
I'll say it again.
Say Tish James again.
Say it.
Tish James. Yeah, there we go. Tish James. Listen, I think we all know why we're here. We're quite excited. There's always a line from struggle to struggle. We all are standing on the shoulders of lots of other people. I'm going to introduce someone who's going to introduce our main speaker, Jonathan Jackson, his father, Reverend Jesse Jackson. Yes. He's one of the people on the shoulders of whom I stand, people my age who first got interested in politics in the early 1980s. Reverend Jackson stood on Harold Washington's shoulders. One of the people standing right next to Harold Washington in that famous 1983 election is, of course, our great speaker tonight. Our great Harold, of course, was the first and to this point only progressive mayor of Chicago, but he's soon going to be joined by a second. So none of this stuff happens by itself. The work that happens in New York, that people like the UFT and WP and others have done in Chicago. There's a woman here, April Verrett from Healthcare Illinois, Indiana. And together with the CTU and some other community organizations have really been, and the ATU have really laid the groundwork, thank you, and others too, for what Chuy Garcia represents. So that's how things actually happen. We have 2 weeks to help do what we can for our brothers and sisters in Chicago. The retirees from UFT are out there. WP is sending 20 people tomorrow. Anybody who knows anyone should be talking to them now and getting them out there. So Jonathan is a national spokesperson for the Rainbow Push Coalition, professor at Chicago State University. And obviously married to someone from Brooklyn, so that's pretty good. A great supporter of Chuy Garcia. Jonathan.
All right.
Thank you, Dan Cantor. I can't thank you all enough. Like I said, my wife's family is from Brooklyn and so forth. We come here all the time, but that's the only thing that gets me an applause. UFT, I want to thank you, Michael Mulgrew. Aren't we blessed to have such a strong leader?
Yes.
Don't take this for granted. Give him a round of applause. And it's my pleasure to introduce a man. Some people, you've known them a long time, and then you grow to dislike them. But then you have the pleasure of knowing someone for a little while, and the more you get to know them, the more you like them. That's who Mr. Chuy Garcia is. Chuy Garcia is authentically Chicago. A man from the Pilsen and Little Village area that grew up on the west side of Chicago, playing with Congressman Danny Davis. And like I said the other day, they grew up in a neighborhood in a time where they had one ball and they played soccer, football, baseball, and tennis with just one ball. They were about bringing communities together, and for all of my adult life, I have known Mr. Chuy Garcia to be on the right side of history, standing with the rise of Harold Washington and breaking up our city council wars. Mr. Chuy Garcia was working in Springfield, Illinois, and had to take around the President of the United States, then Senator Barack Obama. He worked with him there in the Progressive Caucus with our Senate President, Mr. Emil Jones, the godfather of the President, and now is the County Board Commissioner's point person as a commissioner. He's the most qualified, partner, best we've ever had in the state of Illinois, having worked in 3 legislative bodies. At the city, the state, and at the commissioner level. And I would tell you, we can see the finish line. We are so close. But I must share this with you about Chicago, why we're here tonight, and it's so important. Chicago is on lockdown on supporting this campaign. Our mayoral form of government is substantially different than yours. One man, the mayor of the city of Chicago, appoints every school board member, the school board superintendent. Wow. There's a grip on power there like no other city in America. Wow. One man appoints the school board president, the school board members, the council members have nothing to say about it. Determines the budgeting for it, and does the finance director, the curriculum director, everything, and doesn't have to show up at the meeting. One man. The same person also appoints our community college board, president, and all of the persons working there. We have no say.
It needs to stop.
We need to stop. And so, give that a round of applause. And so, Commissioner Garcia is a part of this sort of reform, and when Chicago has a breath of fresh air, you're going to even feel that in Chicago. And I can't help but think about how New York is growing and it feels so much vitality. Chicago is a shrinking city. We've lost 200,000 residents in this first decade of this new millennium. And I can't think of who better to turn that around than someone that is keenly articulate, instinctively intelligent, persuasively analytical. And I'm going to ask you to dig deep and also contribute for the next mayor of the city of Chicago, Mr. Chuy Garcia.
I think you guys have been watching too many clips of the Chicago results of February the 24th. But it was a very, very historic day in Chicago because we caused the first runoff in the history of the city of Chicago. So I'm just delighted to be in New York with Mike Mulgrew, with Dan, with Democracy for America, with MoveOn.org, with the Amalgamated Transit Union, folks who have stood with us as we were going into that February 24th election. And, you know, the significance of it can't be underscored enough. We were up against $14 million going into that election. The conventional thinking, because a lot of people had conventional lenses on, was that you couldn't win it no matter what. That's right. Because how are you going to withstand the barrage of TV ads? How are you going to withstand all the street money that they put out there? How are you going to, you know, withstand all the money that was put out there to buy people to say good things about Rahm Emanuel?
Amen.
But we knew that with leaders like Karen Lewis and the Chicago Teachers Union, shown us and demonstrated to us that it is possible to stand up for what's right.
That's right.
Public education.
That's right.
To push back against a corporate agenda. And to win. That you could go for all the marbles in Chicago, take the city back, put it on a different course, and celebrate a new victory in the name of all the people in Chicago. And that's what we're on our way to doing. So, what have we accomplished so far? You know about the runoff. It'll be settled on April 7th, and it's going to be settled sweetly. Secondly, we also caused there to be, as a result of our movement, 19 runoffs for the Chicago City Council out of 50 seats that hang in the balance today. So, 55% of the people who came out to vote on February 24th voted for change. And 90% of all of those who voted against the will of Rahm Emanuel voted for an elected school board in the city of Chicago. 90%. So we're moving forward to decentralize the city, to give taxpayers and citizens a say-so over how their schools are going to be run in the city of Chicago. One of my first actions as mayor of the city of Chicago will be to go to Springfield, the state capital, and get legislation changed so that we move toward an elected school board in the city of Chicago. Okay? And there's urgency in doing that because in Chicago we suffer from a severe case of pay-to-play politics. Okay, that is what sent 2 governors to jail within the last 10 years. And it's bad. Pay-to-play politics is what enabled Rahm Emanuel to amass huge amounts of dollars 4 years ago and hijack our government, and to think that they were going to hang on to it while they started the whole move to privatize our school system, to privatize the janitorial services, to try to break the Chicago Teachers Union, and then to help an ally become elected governor of the state of Illinois. One of his first pronouncements is to make Illinois a right-to-work state. We stand in contrast to that. We say we're going to have a robust public school system in Chicago. We're going to invest in neighborhoods so that we rid ourselves of a horrific crime rate that we have. 10,000 shootings over the past 4 years and almost 2,000 homicides. Those are intolerable conditions that the city can no longer tolerate. And that will change on Tuesday, April the 7th. In Chicago, we have created an ideal coalition of people across the city of Chicago. Latinos, African Americans, the Irish community, the Polish community, the Asian community, the LGBTQ community are all a part of this new coalition of the 21st century. And its power was already demonstrated on Tuesday, February the 24th. I gotta tell you, if there's one person that I'm thinking about as we move toward April the 7th, it's Harold Washington. Harold was not an easy guy. He raised the bar quite a bit because he was a very capable and intelligent person. But I tell you one thing, he's saying it took you guys almost 30 years to put it together, but by the same token, he is grinning from ear to ear. Okay? Because he sees a robust coalition of community organizers, of labor leaders, of community activists, of clergy, of people from every sector in the city of Chicago uniting across race, across class, across sexual orientation because they want to take the city back. And I'm only the vessel of that movement that says Chicago will become a democratic city once again with a small d. And part of what we are looking to do is joining with cities like New York and your mayor going to the Democratic Convention and to the Republican Convention also to say America needs to embark on a massive jobs program to rebuild America's infrastructure. Because that will enable us to address high unemployment rate, especially in cities across America. And it is needed urgently now. And America also needs to deal with things like comprehensive immigration reform for all of the undocumented immigrants across the country. So as we move towards democracy in Chicago, as we move toward accountability, as we move to ethical reform in the city of Chicago, we're also thinking nationally and how to band with our sisters and brothers in other cities and throughout the country to put America back on the right track, make it work for working people, for ordinary people, for everyone in the city. So sisters and brothers, thank you for coming here tonight. Thank you for investing in democracy in Chicago. It's going to be a great win on April 7th, and we hope that all of you will be in Chicago to celebrate with us the new day that's being elected. Thank you so much.